For a basic squat, you want to have your feet shoulder width apart, engage your core and glutes, and lead with your hips. You want to lower down into the squat until your hips are parallel with your knees. When you drive up from the squat, you want to dig your heels into the ground and keep your core and glutes tight in order to drive up. The primary muscles used in a basic squat would be the glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings, and the secondary muscles used would be the abdominal and calf muscles. The down movement of the squat requires flexion at the hip and knee and dorsiflexion at the ankle. The up movement requires extension at the hip and knee and plantar flexion at the ankle. Common errors would be heels coming off the ground, bending at the knees first instead of the hip, back being curved. All of these errors can be fixed by having a stabilized spine, which will result in controlled movements. For a basic lunge, you want to step back and lower your knee to the ground and make sure your knee stays in line with your ankle. Keep your hands on your hips or straight out in front of you to keep from compensating with them. Primary muscle groups will be the hip extensors, glutes, hamstrings, and quadriceps, and the secondary muscle groups will be the abdominals. Flexion and extension occurs at both the knee and the hip. Common errors would be the knee going too far over the ankle and your chest pushing out. By keeping your abdominals engaged, you will keep a neutral spine, which will result in controlled movements. For a single leg squat, you want to keep one leg straight in front of you as you lower your hips into a squat position. When you drive up from the squat, you want to dig your heel into the ground and keep your core and glutes engaged to keep your spine neutral. The muscle groups that are targeted during a single leg squat would be the hip extensors, glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, and calves. Primary muscle movements will be flexion and extension at the knee and hip. Common errors would be the heels coming off of the ground and knee going over the toe. To do a push-up, you want to lower your body in a plank position with hands shoulder width apart. Slowly lower your body down to the ground while keeping your glutes and abdominals engaged. Make sure to keep your back and hips straight through the movement. Primary muscle groups used are the pectorals, triceps, and biceps. Muscle movements will be horizontal adduction at the shoulders, flexion and internal rotation of the humerus. Common errors would be having your hips sink or elevate. Keep your core engaged in order to have control over your hips. To perform a plank with a pull down, you want to have your body in plank position. You want to grab the resistance band and slowly pull until your elbow is fully bent. Then slowly extend your arm forward. Primary muscle groups will be the pectorals, triceps, biceps, and latissimus dorsi. Primary muscle movements will be shoulder abduction and elbow adduction and flexion. Common errors would be your hips twisting, dropping, or elevating in order to compensate for lack of balance. By keeping your core engaged, this will help you have control over your hips.